Hello, Faith family, and welcome back for another video. This will actually serve as part two of At the Beginning. The part one was called The One at the Beginning, and that was basically revelations of the origins of the universe and how scripture and faith and science and the observable parts of nature are able to all be in conjunction with one another. And so this is part two. It is called Created in the Image of God, and we'll basically be talking about the concept of the Imago Dei. And so the phrase in itself, created in the image of God, is a theological concept that describes the idea that basically us as humans, we possess the qualities that reflect God. And it comes from Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, which says, God created man in his own image, meaning that humans have a moral, spiritual, and intellectual nature that reflects God's. And we see that. We see that throughout the world. Like, these are not just these theological, huge concepts. How we deal and how we have even political matters, even on a individual morality view, um, it is stemming from who we believe ourselves to be. And if we know and we believe ourselves to come from the image of God, then we are able to, well, there is not necessarily a right and wrong, but we are able to make a divinely orchestrated decision on how we impact the world that we live in and the world that the Lord created. But first, I truly believe, how can we know about the image of God if we do not know who God is, why we are to believe, or who created this earth? So if you have not watched part one, go back and watch part one and then come back and watch this part. So, first things first, the Imago Dei gives us a resemblance view of resembling God to relate to others as God does and represent Him well. And so in the Old Testament, they believe that humans are to serve as God's representatives on earth. And obviously now that we have the New Testament, we know that Jesus was technically like the representative. Um, But the New Testament says that sin has disfigured the image of God, but that humans are still in the image of God. So we can still attempt, we're going to sin, we're going to fall short of being perfect as Jesus was, Jesus Christ. But we can still try through our walk of discipleship and following Him. And so, how do we live in the image of God? Some say that humans can live in the image of God by loving and being compassionate, showing kindness and forgiveness, creating and carrying forth life into existence. But there's a multitude of different ways that living out the image of God impacts our modern world. Like, from an ecological point of view, some modern theologians argue that the image of God is to be a caregiver over the created order, which means that we should properly care for this earth, that we should do the things that are necessary to retain this earth and sustain this earth to its best ability.